word I'll find. If you believe and never down, I know the Savior, He will bring you out. Everything will be all right, because God specializes in things that seems impossible. God said everything will be all right, even in death it will be, if you just believe and never doubt the Lord. Everything will be all right, all right. Our God is an awesome God. You can count on the Lord. Everything will be all right.
Amen. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
My grandmother. Her legacy is so great. When I think about my grandmother, she means so much to me, now more than anything. When I think about her and all that she stood for, it really makes me realize how much her life has impacted me. I'm just a mere expression of my grandmother. For those of you who do not know, I am the first granddaughter. I was actually named after my grandmother. One of my middle names is Lanaz, short for Little Nazarene, Lanaz. My mom, her oldest daughter, would often say, "You're just like Ma." She seemed to say that with such an attitude that I thought that that's such a bad thing, but I was always very proud to know that I am a lot like my grandmother. My very first memory is when I was getting out of a car, and I had to have been probably 3 or 4. I believe we were just coming back from Africa, and I was following my mother. We were going through this rustic gate of a home, and I obviously had come to know that that was 1415 Osage Drive in Vivian, Louisiana. Followed my mother through the porch-type patio, and it's like, it's a maze getting there. But so following my mom through the doorway, and the television's on, there's music in the background, and there were people there just hugging on you. I just remember, and I remember it's always felt so good coming to Granny's house. This aroma, this southern cooked food aroma coming from the kitchen area. Pinto beans, ground beef, smothered pork chops, liver, dark gravy, black eyed peas, candy yams. Are you hungry yet? My granny always had food, and that's what I loved about going to Granny's house. It was so magical for me. So growing up, knowing that going to 1415 Osage Drive, my home, our home, as Thomas is, it was always love there for you. As the story is told, my grandmother grew up motherless. I hear all these stories growing up, and I would take in a lot of them. And as a young child, I didn't always understand, but as I got older and I would hear them over and over, it did resonate in me, and I understood it. My mother wasn't taught how to be a mother. Her mother passed away she passed away giving her last breath, to my understanding, to Granny's the youngest daughter. But I thought about that lately, more than I ever have before, and I said, you know what? God, her legacy. Had it not been for my grandmother's mother and her not giving birth to her, my mother and her siblings would not have made it through. I would not be here. Neither of us would have been here. In the last few days of my grandmother's time in hospice, I came home. I wanted to watch my grandmother in her transition. I wanted that because I realized that she has watched me grow since I was a baby. So it was so important for me to be there. I stayed with her the very last night. Every time I got to her room, I would play gospel music for her. And I was hoping she would hear it. She knew I was there. I would lean over and I would kiss her throughout the time of me being there, and I would recite all the family members. So I wanted her to hear all the names. And I told her over and over, I'd say, Winnie, we love you so much. We were so proud of you. You're resting well. That's what I would say to her. They tell you you don't know what they're thinking, but honestly, God, I hope that she hears my voice. I'm not sad, I'm happy. My grandmother was hurting. I understand that she passed away on that Wednesday morning, the last day of August 31st, and actually 19 days prior, she celebrated her 82nd birthday. She was with family. The thing I loved about my granny is that whether I was with her physically or whatnot, I just felt her presence. That again is why I'm not sad. I know she's with us. My granny seemed to always have this spiritual strength about her that I admire so much. She seemed to always be in tune with God, that when it's outside and it's thundering, I just knew that my granny knew when the storm would cease. I admired that spirit that lived in her. That's why I always loved being told that I'm just like my grandmother. As I sleep peacefully at 1415 Osage Drive, and I know all of us probably feel this way, to have a mother of all mothers watching over you and praying for you, that was home. That was home to me. That was love. Dear Granny, I thank you. I thank you for your incredible ways of displaying the purpose of a grandmother. I never knew what it would be like to not have you, because you were always there. Dear Granny, I thank you. I thank you for teaching me how to pray, how to listen to the voice of God, and most importantly, for warning me that it is good to yield to the Holy Spirit, especially during a time of worship. Dear Granny, thank you Thank you for kneeling with me on the side of the bed and leading me to the Our Father prayer. I learned that with my grandmother. She would actually start it off with something simple. Now I'll lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I shall die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Granny, you truly are the essence of a virtuous woman. Your presence is missed, but your legacy as a great mother will always be remembered, will never be forgotten. You were there for me as I grew into my life. And I know and I hope that you knew that I was right there with you as you slowly slipped away into afterlife. I will always carry your legacy proudly all the days of my life forevermore. My granny will always say, I love you to pieces. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. So long, Granny, until we meet again. Thank you.
Celebrate the life. All right. To celebrate the life of our grandmother, AKA Granny, Nanny, or Fanny, you know who you are. Like Shari said, Granny was raised by her grandparents because her mother died really young. And for this reason, I know that family has always been really important to Granny. Maybe Granny wanted to teach us the things that she was never able to glean from her own mother. And she taught us a great deal. And I just want to share a few of those lessons and memories. Number one, Granny taught us to share. She always shared her ice cream, and we always knew it was in the deep freezer. We'd come in that house looking for the ice cream. My parents would be like, don't go in that house asking for ice cream. And Granny would be like, that's why I buy that ice cream. It's for them children. Y'all can eat whatever y'all want to eat in this house. Granny taught us book smarts and practical smarts. When I was in elementary school, Granny was quizzing me on the multiplication facts. She knew them better than I did. She could do the sums in her head, and she told us when I was in Texas, they didn't let us write stuff down. We had to do it in our head. She taught us how to pick eggs. All of us go to the store the same way. Open up that carton and make sure all the eggs are intact, because Granny taught us that. Granny had the wherewithal when she was working at VIP. She had 2 black baskets for the clothes, one for the regular clothes and one for the clothes from VIP. Because she warned us, them clothes will cut you, and I took her for serious. Granny also taught us to support each other. When I was little, I wanted to have earrings or pierced ears like all the other little girls, and my daddy said no. But Granny kept me in ear bobs, and every time I left Vivian, I had my fingernails painted, because every little girl ought to have her nails painted, according to Granny. Granny and Papa they passed out dollar bills every time you got an A on your report card. So who knows what kind of a student I might have become without that incentive. She also supported me when I was little. I always got nosebleeds for no apparent reason. So Granny took a penny, she drilled a hole in it and tied it around my neck. And I wore that penny till the string broke. And maybe I grew out of it, maybe it was the copper in the penny, but the nosebleed stopped. I had asthma when I was little, and Granny tried to give me a Chihuahua, but that didn't go over. Granny also taught us all self-discipline. If you ever were at 1415 Osage Drive and you made up a bed, Granny had them beds on the corner at the bottom crisp, like she had been through boot camp. And she wanted you to make the bed up the same way.
Yep.
And me, Shari, and Brand, we'd be at Granny's house, and she'd be telling us, y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. Roger and Cedric make up a bed better than y'all, and they boys. And I remember thinking in my head, well, Roger and Cedric older than us, they ought to be able to make the bed up better than us. But I had sense and home training enough not to say that out loud. Granny also taught us the way to get things done. When we had to clean up on Saturday mornings, we had the music going, we were listening to the Swap Shop and listening to Don't Mess With My Tutu. She just had a way to make